Alright, so this is the design matrix that I made based off of the seedings that I found just kind of around my area. So the first one is labeled Metal Bench 1, and it's going to be that one that I just selected. So for comfortability, I gave it a 7. This may seem a little high considering it's made of metal. It's not like cushioned, but obviously you can lean back against the backrest. And there's also trees, there's plants. Now, what knocked it down a couple pegs is things like the dirt that's around it. Like it's not the most pleasing thing in the world to see. And also, the fact that it's made of just metal, it's not cushioned, so none of the comfortabilities were really high. For cost, I give it a 3. I would not imagine that it would cost a ton of money to put in a single bench made of metal in an area like this on top of some concrete. And for environmental impact, I give it a 4. It's not made out of it's not a bunch of plastic chairs, which is good. It's made of metal, but compare metal to some other materials that might last a little bit longer. It also gets points because there's like plant life. It's close to some dirt, some soil. So there's a little bit of nature involved. Function, honestly, I give it a 10. I don't see what this thing could possibly do wrong. I feel like it just does everything right. And the even though it's not like the most comfortable thing in the world, it gets the job done. And you can sit on it, it's going to hold you up, it's not going to collapse. Safety, I put a 5. I wouldn't imagine that this would be super dangerous. I feel like the safety is kind of more external, like who are you around and what are you around versus like the chair itself. Unless it's like on one leg, but it seemed fine. Sustainability, I put an 8. Like I said, I imagine it will last a decently long time. Social impact, though, I put 2, since it doesn't really do anything too crazy that'll get people talking about it. And on top of that, it's only really built for like 1 to 3 people at a time. And aesthetic, I gave it a 1. Very plain, very boring. Next up is this one right here, the table and chairs that are green. For comfortability, I give it a 7, since you actually have the table in front of you, and you can lean back and rest your back against the backrests. Cost, I give it a 5. I'd imagine it's a little more expensive since the design is more intricate and it looks like the chairs can spin around. Environmental impact, I did 2. Not really seeing how this could contribute to the environment too much. Function, I give it an 8. It spins around. You can sit, it's got that table built in. Safety was a 7. Like I said, it doesn't seem particularly dangerous. Sustainability was a 6. Social impact was a 6. It was higher than the last one because there's room for more people, and there's also the table so people can gather around and like do stuff there versus the bench where you can't really do anything. And aesthetic, I give it a 4. It's not like the prettiest thing in the world, but it's got some color thrown in there and it's got some plants surrounding it. For the Metal Bench 2, which was this one right here, I gave comfortability a 7. Again, cost was a 6, which was up from the last metal bench since there's multiple benches there. There's 2. Environmental impact was also a 2, since there's more concrete, there's less dirt. So there was more like human action there. Function, I gave it a 10, again for the same reasons as the last metal bench. Same with the safety. The sustainability was also the same. The social impact, though, was a little higher because there's room for more people, so more people can gather in that spot. And aesthetic, again, was 1. There's really nothing special going on. Now next up, this was one of my this is my second favorite that I found. It's this little stone circle thing that I found. For comfortability, I gave it a 4. You're obviously sitting on hard rock, and there is not really a backrest. There's that big thing that's coming up out of the center, but it doesn't seem like it would be that comfortable to rest your back against. And then for cost, I put 7. I would imagine this would cost a little bit more money, being that it's made of concrete and that it's got a bit more of an like simple yet like more intricate design at the same time. Environmental impact, I give it a 5, just because it's made of what I would imagine would be a more like sustainable material that will like degrade less over time versus metal, because metal can rust and weather. Concrete doesn't do that quite as fast. For safety, I gave it a 4. There's again like not really anything that this could have done to make itself any more safer. I guess you could have put seatbelts on it, but I would imagine like somebody's bonked their head on this and it probably hurt quite a bit just because of what it's made out of. Also, it could be easy to like maybe slide on it when it gets wet and when it's raining. Sustainability, I give it a 9. Like I said, it's made out of a long-lasting material. Social impact, I gave it an 8, because you can have a lot of people sitting around it, but also because it's such a kind of a strange design that I feel like it's something that could get people talking um, when they see it. And aesthetic, I gave it a 10, even though it's not the coolest thing in the world by any measure. I just thought it looked interesting. Now, for my favorite one, the fountain seating, a lot of people I don't think don't really consider fountains to be seating areas, but there's actually, you've got the bench running around the entire thing. So for comfortability, I give it a 3. You're sitting on concrete. There's not really a backrest. Cost, I would imagine it'd be very expensive, to run all the pipes and the waterworks for that. Environmental impact is a 6 because it's again a long-lasting material, and in addition to that, it has water running through it. So I feel like people could see the water and associate that with nature, and maybe a domino effect could take place, and they'll think, hey, I like this water. Water's part of the environment. How can I make the environment better? How can I clean the environment? For function, I give it a 3. Again, there's not really a lot that you can do like functionality wise with this. Safety is also a 3. I'd imagine some people have like fallen in to the water on accident. And also, being that it's made of concrete, it's probably a little slippery. Sustainability, though, I put 10. I'd imagine this is very long lasting. It could be pretty high maintenance, though. For social impact, I also put 10. It's very big. You can seat a lot of people there, and people will also talk about it. And aesthetic, I mean, come on. It's a cool looking piece of architecture. Who doesn't love a cool fountain? I gave it a 10. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much.